Greetings and salutations, everybody. I'm Simone Malone, your radio feel-good man, a trusted and respected voice in the media. Well, just got off the radio with an amazing interview with this phenomenal brother who's an author here in Philadelphia, father of 5 children, a professional counselor as well. He is truly living out his passion because of what God has deposited into his spirit to be able to help so many people of a lost boy's salvation. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome my dear brother who met me some time ago, and he's going to tell you how he met me. Kevin N. Bell to Studio 236 of FM HDMS. Welcome. Did you have a good time on the radio?
I did.
Tell everybody about your experience on the radio.
Oh, it was awesome. It was excellent. My first time having an interview, an exclusive one, and he made it worthwhile. He definitely asked the right questions that got the right answers going. So
Wonderful.
I'm blessed.
I'm blessed to have you. Kevin, let me first congratulate you for what God has deposited into your spirit as a brother that's making a difference, to want to help so many people, because you have a story. Lost boy, 1998 to 1998. What is this all about? This shirt is nice. 1998 to 1998. Were you lost at that time?
I was definitely lost. I was so lost, I didn't know who I was. You know what I mean? So, I had a rough childhood. And at that time, 1998, I was at my breaking point. And I just completely went kind of like psychotic.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I did a very, very bad thing. You know what I'm saying? And it involves my son. And in the book, and inside the book, it describes the horrible, bad decision that I made that impacted my life forever.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And it put me on this mission to serve God and to honor my son.
Gotcha.
So I work with kids for 19 years now, so that I can help kids that's on the path or about to go on the path that I've been on, so that they can get off that path.
Right. Help turn their life around.
Path. Right.
Right. Okay. I want people to get an understanding. And once again, we thank you, everyone, for clicking on right here to this exclusive interview out of Studio 236. I want people to understand, who in the world is Kevin N. Bell growing up? Who are you? What were the struggles that you went through that brought you to this point of a lost boy's salvation, that you published this book recently?
Okay. Oh well. First of all, I had a great childhood when my parents were together in a marriage. So they provided this great life for me. My father, he was he was in the Marines for 4 years, and he was in the Army Reserve for 12. And my mother was a homemaker. She didn't have to work because my father was such a great provider.
Wonderful.
And she was home, and she wasn't the type of person that sit around and watch TV or they'll be on the phone all day. She was very involved with me. So she taught me my ABCs, how to write my name, and she was always there to spoil me rotten. And I loved it.
So you were spoiled.
I was a
lost
spoiled
boy.
I
He was a spoiled lost boy. Okay.
Man. You know what I'm saying? And so what happened was they went through some marital issues, and they split ways. And how they split ways, I witnessed it. You know what I'm saying, with my father. And my mother was with another man. And me and my father watched this one evening, and I saw the hurt on my father's face. And it hurt me too, like to actually see my father hurting, because I knew that this couldn't be a great thing. I mean, it wasn't going to end well, and they had a fight over that, and it was a very bad fight. You know what I'm saying? It was a fight that me and my siblings have never witnessed before.
Sure.
And it affected me. It tore me to pieces. And then my father went his way. And my mother was trying to, my mother, who had never worked in a marriage, had to go find a job. And so she didn't have time to be home and spoil me like the way I was so accustomed to.
I got you.
And like, so she wasn't around to actually be the great the great homemaker that she was. So that led me to fend for myself. And me, I don't, I'm just 6 years old. I don't know, how to cook and clean and things like that. So this led to a lot of, abuse from neighbors and other kids in the community. And so that kind of set me on this path of being a lost boy. You know what I'm saying? So I just became isolated. I became a bad kid. I started hanging around other bad kids who were very dangerous in the community. They were drug dealers, and they were crooks. You know what I mean? They carried guns. They robbed people. They was involved in shootouts, and they brought me up in there.
Yeah.
So I became like them. I was associated with that thug life too. And my mom, my mother, and my parents or whatever, and my siblings, they knew nothing about how I was living. I kept it a secret. I didn't tell them anything because I was so used to not talking about the things that was bottled up in me.
Gotcha.
Since my parents' divorce. So I was accustomed to that, and they didn't find out until I made that very bad decision one day involving my son. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so what was that? Tell everybody, what was that bad decision?
Okay, all right. So that bad decision was that basically, I was a lost boy. I met a girl. Her name in the story, her name was Veronica.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and she was nothing like me. She was a total opposite of me. I was bad. I didn't go to school like that, and she was the opposite of that. She went to school. She was a grade A student, GPA 4.0 or higher. She had all these college offers, and she fell for me. Beautiful girl. She fell for me, and I was just always thinking like, well, what do she see in me? Because I'm struggling. I'm bummy. I'm
totally
I'm
opposite.
lost, right? You know what I mean? What do you want? You know what I mean?
Sure.
But she showed me love. You know what I mean? I guess she saw the lost boy in me. You know what I mean? She saw I was a lost boy, and she wanted to be there for me. She showed me love, and she took me in, and we fell in love like Romeo and Juliet. You know what I'm saying? And then she became pregnant because we was using unprotected sex, and she was thrilled about it. She was happy to have a baby with the boy of her dreams. You know what I mean? And I was happy too at first.
Sure.
But then for some reason or whatever, my siblings wasn't so happy about it. You know, they didn't have very successful relationships, or their relationships wasn't as wasn't as hype as mine. It was their relationships were kind of dry. So they were jealous of it, and they would make comments, and they would have discussions with me about how I was too young to have a baby,
right?
And how it was no way me only being 16 that I would be old enough to be able to take care of my girlfriend Veronica and a baby. No way. You know what I'm saying?
But so, you know what? I want to stop you right there. We got a lot of young people out there that are dealing with this right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dealing with this right now. Is she still in your life?
She is actually.
Okay.
Actually, she is. Actually, when I we've been talking off and on before the book.
I got you.
But when the book came to me at the time, her and I wasn't associated at the time. And when I got the book, God, who instructed me to write the book, was like, "Hey, give her a call." And I was like, "Look, why, God? Because me and her, we're not on good terms right now."
Sure.
And he was like, "Show her the book anyway." So I called her and I told her, I said, "Hey, look, God instructed me to write this book, and it's about my life, and a big part of what me and you were involved in when we were teenagers is in the book." So she was like, "What?"
She was thrilled, like, "Oh my God!"
Right? Yeah. She was like, "Oh my God, you wrote a book involving us and what happened with us." So she came over to my house one day and saw a stack of printed papers on my kitchen counter, and she was like, "What's this?" I said, "That's the book." I said, I typed it on my iPhone. And she was like, "Oh my God." And she read it. She said, "You mind if I read it?" I said, "Go ahead." And she read it, and she was stunned. She couldn't believe it. Yeah. She was like, "Wow, you wrote this story?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Look, with some minor editing, this could be a great book."
And look what has happened.
And she actually did the editing for me.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
On that note, we're talking about the book. It's right here. Got a good shot. A Lost Boy's Salvation. The author himself, an amazing cover, amazing book. I'm still reading it. So I want you to tell our viewers, what was the turning point in your life that, because you said on the radio how you met some interesting people and you met some people that poured into your life. How old were you when you had that turning point and you said, I want to get my life together and I want to get on the right path?
Okay, so I was 16 years old and I was arrested. I was arrested and charged with murder, of course. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Because I tried to perform my own version of a homemade abortion.
Wow.
My way, the way that I was taught on the streets on how to deal with things. So when that happened, God came through and delivered the miracle. You know what I mean? He gave me his salvation. He forgave me for what I had done, and put people in my life who were very powerful, influential people
Right.
in the juvenile justice system,
Mhm.
and they put me in the right position to get the help that I needed
But you
in order
wanted
to
to
make the
change.
turn. And oh yes, indeed, I wanted to
See, it's
change.
key for people to
I
understand. You
wanted to
you have
change.
to
You have to want to
you want to
change.
change. The problem is we're working with people who don't want to change,
Right,
and so it makes it harder.
right.
But you wanted to change,
I
and when that
wanted to
began to
change.
happen,
Right,
he put people in your corner,
right,
your support system that
right,
help you.
right. See,
Okay.
right, because it's like this. Everybody has that breaking point. I mean, like even some of like the worst people sometimes have that breaking point, and sometimes, they might be in a situation that they can't make the change that's noticeable to everybody. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? I mean, I know if I had been given that life sentence, you know what I mean, I wouldn't be on the air today. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But because God was merciful and gave me this opportunity to be free and to write this book and be on air today.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm able to show the world that hey, I've changed and I'm grateful, and I want to give back to others what was given to me.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, A Lost Voice Salvation, Kevin and Bill. Mothers and fathers out there, you need this book in your collection for your children.
We gotta save our kids.
And he's a professional counselor as well. This is based on a true story.
Based on a true story.
And some of you know that you're dealing with this right now. Some of your children are lost. God saved this young man, brought him back on the right path he needs to be, because every lost child has an opportunity to
Absolutely.
get
Yes.
themselves together. So what happened where, this book came about through your process of this?
All right. So basically, right. So God first gave me. All right. So first of all, like when I was 16, and
Mhm.
I was given this break, I had like my lawyer, my caseworker, and and the judge were basically was like, look, they believe that God, what I mean, has a gift for me, and that gift is, what I mean, that I shouldn't do this prison time, that I should be given the proper help by a great clinical team.
Mm.
Therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. I had a great group
That
of
support system,
counselors.
yes.
That support system that I needed. That actually reared me and brought me up. They raised me. They had to raise me all over again. They had to show me how to eat properly. They had to show me how to dress properly. They had to show me how to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because I was not a communicator
Mhm.
when I was a teenager. I wasn't much of that. So they would definitely encourage me and show me kindness. That was something I didn't really get a lot of
Sure,
growing
sure,
up,
sure.
and that kind of made me the person I am. So it's more like when they were telling me that God had a mission for me ever since
Mm.
I was 16. Now,
Mhm.
me being 16, just a kid, I'm like, what is y'all talking about? God got a mission for me.
Sure.
Like, okay, all right, okay. I'm lucky that I didn't go to prison, and I should thank God for that. But all this, God got a calling for me business.
You didn't
I don't
understand it
believe
then,
that. I don't understand it.
but you
Right,
can understand it
right. But I
now.
can understand it now. There you go. So God first came to me in a vision in my
Sure.
dream. In 2005, I had to have been probably like 24, 25 years old, and He gave me the vision of my son. He gave
Mm.
me the lost boy vision, and I'm seeing the vision of my son, and I'm like, all right, well, why is God showing me the vision of my son? What is
Sure,
that about?
sure, sure.
Years later, up until this point, I finally understand why God is showing me the vision of my son. He showed me the vision of my son because He wants me to also to tell the world what I've been through, what I've overcome, but He wants me to give Him the credit that He deserves for making this miracle happen.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And while I'm doing that, He's allowing me to honor my son. He's telling me to keep the vision for my son, or with my son, while I'm giving back and while I'm doing this this great impossible mission to some people. You know what I'm saying? While I'm doing that, keep that as my focus.
Wow.
So my son is my focus. So when I'm out here doing this here, trying to save our trying to help
That's right.
save our children's lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I keep my son in mind.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, A Lost Boy's Salvation. This book is amazing. I'm reading it now. Kevin and Belle. Kevin, what can they find inside of this book that will really help somebody? What's all? Tell us about the chapters. A few of the chapters in here.
All right. So basically, right. So like I said, this book is raw and uncut. I don't leave nothing out. I mean, I went through like I was molested as a child.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a chapter in it that talks about that.
Wow.
Like it talks about my molestation and how I overcame that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? The best way that I knew how at the time. But at the same time that like sometimes we have kids and we can't be around them all the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And things could have happened to them, or things could be happening or going on with them, and they just don't know how to communicate to the parents about these issues. You know what I'm saying? And in the book, I demonstrate some of the signs that I showed my parents, when I was going through the things that I was going through, and maybe they saw the signs, and I'm sure they did, but they didn't ask the right questions. You know what I mean? They didn't sit down and have that talk with me and say, "Hey, Kevin, I noticed that you've been having some lashing out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that you don't bathe every day like you used to. I noticed that you don't eat as much as you used to. You skipping meals. What's going on with you? Like, is everything okay?" I never had that discussion.
Wow.
So I was dealing with all these things by myself until it bottled up, and then I did one of the most horrific crimes, you know what I'm saying, in history, and we see we see this so much in our community where kids is shooting up places, kids is fighting each other. You name it, burglarizing houses and
Mm-hmm.
robbing stores.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we think of these kids as they're monsters. They're bad. They should be thrown in jail, and somebody should throw away the key. But it was things that led up to all that. You know what I'm saying? Like these kids were not born. They were not birthed evil. You know what I mean? Things occur or things happen that led to these things.
Yeah.
And we need to get to the bottom of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when we see our kids going through these things, we need to sit them down and we need to talk to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And get them the help that they need. If you don't have the answers, then go to somebody who do.
Yeah.
But we have a great country that is filled with great resources.
Right. Kevin, your story is amazing. Just sitting here listening to you, you can go on and on and on. And folks, we want you to get this book. Tell them how they can purchase it, the cost of it. You're going to be doing something on April the 6th, the day after my birthday. Do encourage them. Look into that camera. Encourage them to pick up A Lost Boy's Salvation. Because some of you know that our young people are so lost. But we know a God and we serve a God, thank you, Father, that can snatch them and pull them into the safety zone. Amen?
Yes, amen. Amen.
Amen. So
you could purchase this book on my website. It's A Lost Boys series.com. And you can go on Amazon.com and order the book. A paperback copy like this, excuse me.
Sure.
Paperback copy like this is $20. You can also get it for $9.99 as an ebook. You can download it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop. You know what I'm saying? But please get this book.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And also I have a book release party at my job, which is the Philadelphia Juvenile Justice Services Center, called PJJSC on 91 North 48th Street right off of Haverford.
Right in West Philadelphia.
West Philadelphia.
Yes, right. So go ahead and give your email and maybe if you want to give a contact number in case people want to reach you directly.
Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
Yes. All right. So my email address is alostboysseries@gmail.com. My phone number is 267-503-3214. Again, my website is alostboysseries.com. And yeah, please reach out to me. You can send me an email if you have questions about the book or just questions on how to get resources, you know, to help someone that you may know that may need some help.
Sounds good. What's your final word?
All right. So my final word is that God placed us all here on this planet, okay, to be in His image, in His likeness. Okay, He has given us dominion over the whole earth. All right, so you know, we should never take that for granted. We should never use the Lord's name in vain. We should practice kindness, love, mercy, and peace and harmony with one another. If you see someone that needs help, if you see someone that needs to hear a good word or something like that, please offer that. I mean, you know, if you got money, please donate. If you got money, please use it to help others. If you don't have money, you know what I mean, there's other things that you can use to brighten up somebody's day.
That's right.
But we all have something to give.
That's
and,
right.
and God says to me in a dream, He says that I am blessed to be blessed enough to bless the world. So every man, woman, and child is blessed enough in some way, form, or fashion to bless somebody else. We can bless the world and we can save our earth.
Great. Go ahead real quick, get some shout outs because I know that you are quite loved by your story in your life. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. I want to give a shout out to my mother and father, William Bell Sr. and Elizabeth Tula Bell. Thank you for giving me birth, and thank you for trying your very, very best to raise a warrior of God like myself. I appreciate everything. I knew it wasn't always easy, but thank you. And I would like to give a shout out to my children, Zaire Bell, Joshua Bell, Kevin Bell, Nazir Bell Jr., and my daughter, my only daughter, Journey Bell.
Wonderful.
All right, and also my caseworker, Director of Social Services at the Public Defender's Office, Christina Bradley. Christina Bradley, and my lawyers, Benjamin Cooper and Anne Marie Ambrose. Thank you very much for all your help. Curtis Martin, Russell Holmes, Jamar Gorton, Vern Moore Sr., thank y'all all for your help. Robert Mazan Sr., Robert Mazan Jr. I can go on and on and on.
So many people you want to thank and you love. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Did you have a great time?
I had an awesome time.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, also, listen, like if you need an exclusive interview, if you want people to know your story, who you are, what you're doing, this is the man right here.
Thank you so much.
It's the man.
At the beginning, he didn't really tell you how we met, but it was interesting. He said on the radio we met at a gas station. I was in the midst of doing something, and I gave him my number and said to him, if you need my help, call me. This is what a lost boy's salvation is all about. He needed help. He reached out. People responded. God responded. Get this book, A Lost Boy's Salvation. It's going to bless your child. It's going to bless your life. You're going to see the cover of the book scroll after this video. Please support this brother, Mr. Kevin M. Bell. Thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us here out of Studio 236. Everybody have an amazing day. Let's wave at them. Remember, you're never alone with Simone Malone. For details on being on my show, that's going to scroll across the screen as well. Give me a call at feelgoodman1@yahoo.com. That's my email. Feelgoodman, there's only one. That's me. Feelgoodman1@yahoo.com or 215-224-4297. Let's save somebody today. Let's help somebody. Each one teach one. A lost boy's salvation. Get it today. Kevin M. Bell. Have a great day. Bye-bye.